So hello guys, let's continue. So the last part, we're still in our data access, so let's continue to build our data access. Okay. So in my preview in the projects that I have done, the insert and update query is done through Sequelize because it is much more efficient. But the selection in the select query in the Sequelize, it's hard to filter. So let's in this project we will be using the raw query. So we will be using this package, the Postgre here. So let's make the connection using the PG package. So I'll just copy in my project. So you have to keep in mind that in clean architecture, when you include a package like here .env and Postgre, you must require it in different file, then just call it in the file that you need it. So example here in our connections, we make a variable that will return this async function with this parameter, the .env and the Postgre packages. So in the async function inside, so it will just config the .env so it can read this file, the env file. Then we will create a pool in Postgre. So this part here is also in the documentation of the in PM page, I mean the Postgre. So this is our object with our users, the database, the password, the port, and the host. Then pass the object here in the pool. Then this function will return the created pool we will use in our query. So let's save this. So reminder again, the package must be in the separate file. So when you will use the different example, different database, so like example MySQL, so when you replace this and this part, you just replace this variable here, then minor configuration in the connections. So that's what I like in the clean architecture. So we will require this file, connection file with the variable connect. Then my lazy naming convention is that the original variable, then just put s. That's my lazy naming convention. So connects, then call this variable, then pass the packages. That's what it is here. Then object freeze, so when it is object freeze, you cannot replace this with any value anymore. Then just export this variable, the services and the function here. So that's for our connection in Postgre. So now we will make the query in our employees table. So create folder also in the data access part. So employees. So let me copy first the code. So this is the connects uh, variable, which is from here. So this holds the connection in our Postgre. Then the models is from the Sequelize, which is here, index, from this file. Then the query of variable is from this file. So we create a variable with the name query. Then this variables from this file, connects and models. Then return object freeze is just the same. So it will return these functions, then freeze it so it cannot be altered anymore. I will discuss these functions later when we are creating our routes. So let's get back there later. Then require query, which is the name of our variable here. Then name it employees db. Then call this variable. Then pass the parameters, the models and connects, which is here, from here. So we are done in our database. So after creating the database in the clean architecture, the most center part is the entities. So this is where the business logic. So let's make our entities first. Just copy here in the project. Just copy this. Please. I'll just copy also the update, shooting the update, so we'll not copy it anymore. So in our entities, when we insert an employee, so this is our business logic, or it must have this data. So if there is no first name, it will return an error. Please enter first name, same as this. Enter last name, and if the age equals null, I didn't put just the exclamation here, because when you put an age of 0, it will enter this block of code. So just equals null. Then freeze these variables. Also functions. I forgot my functions folder. I'll just copy my functions folder. In my functions folder, I only have encrypt and decrypt. So it's just the same. All the packages are declared in this file, and then the env, which is from here for encryption. So it is a confidential data, so it must be here in the env file. So this use crypto package. It is built in Node. So this is in their official docs. So I just copy it there. So let's back here. So we will store in the database the encrypted first name and encrypted last name. So when you want to access the data, we will call these functions. in our use case, so you'll see it in action later. So in our app file, it's just the same. Also in the patch employee during update, it's almost the same. You just add this ID because we need in our routes the parameter ID, so it must be required. Then store object freeze here. So in our app file, so bring out this function here, encrypt and decrypt, but we didn't use decrypt, so it's just a dummy there. Then bring up our entities, make employee and patch employee here. So my naming convention, just add s, make employee, then the encrypt, which is here, the parameter encrypt, also in the update. Then we will freeze these two variables and export it. So that's for our entities, guys. So in the next part, we will be in our use cases now. So the process and also the inserting and connections in our database. So see you guys there. Thank you.